Did you know that the top richest 1% of Americans control 40% of the country's wealth? Not only that, but the top 80 richest people in the world are worth half as much as the entire world's population. Hearing these numbers, there is no denying that there is a huge separation between the rich and the poor. Is it luck that the Bill Gates and Warren Buffetts of the world are so rich while the rest of us aren't? Many people assume that most of the wealthy are born into it, but that is simply not true. Out of the 80 richest people in the world, only 11 of them had their fortunes passed down to them. One of these ultra-rich people is American investor, business tycoon, and philanthropist, who is the chairman and CEO of Berkshire Hathaway, Warren Buffett. Buffett grew up in the middle class and amassed his wealth by acquiring knowledge of investing and applying it. Or how about the seventh richest person in the world, Amancio Ortega? He grew up the son of a railway worker and left school at the age of 14 to work as a tailor. He eventually became rich from co-founding a fashion company, Inditex Inc., and fashion retail chain store Zara. These men and countless others prove that you can get rich even if you are not born into it. You simply need to emulate the behaviors of the rich if you wish to end up like them. To explain the difference in the lifestyles and lifestyle choices between the rich and the poor, let's take a look at two men who are similar age, IQ, are both from the middle class, and are both from the same city with the same education and a similar family. We will call them Bill and Joe. Despite their similar starting points, we will see how one can live paycheck to paycheck while the other can accumulate vast amounts of wealth. It's Friday afternoon, and both men have just gotten home from a long day at work. Joe can't wait to get in the door and finally have some time to relax. He jumps on his couch and decides to whip out his Xbox and play for the rest of the day. After all, he had a long day at work and deserves to relax. Bill, on the other hand, would also like to relax after his hard day at work, but the day is only half over. Bill has been taking an online course learning to invest his money and is also trying to learn programming. Even though he already has a degree, he wants to learn more and more because he knows the best investment he can make is one in himself. He does this because he knows his role model Tim Pool invests $500,000 into his education every year. He figures that if the rich are willing to invest that much in constantly learning, he should too. The first difference between the rich and the poor is the rich never stop learning. The next Monday, Joe goes into work and he is chatting with his coworkers about life, and one of them mentions they are going to get a new house. Joe is confused because that house would be way out of his price range, so he asks the coworker what he makes. Joe is shocked to find out that he is one of the lowest paid amongst his peers. The most humiliating part about this is that Joe has been at the company longer than most of his coworkers. Joe goes to his boss and demands a raise, arguing that he has been there longer than most of his coworkers, yet he makes less. His boss tells him he can't justify giving him a raise because he never goes above and beyond, and his productivity has been constantly dropping. Bill, on the other hand, goes into work on Monday and his boss calls him into the office. His boss hands him an envelope. In the envelope, it is a check for $15,000. His boss explains that due to a new process he created, he has saved the company $500,000 in expenses. This is difference number 2 between the rich and the poor. The rich sell value, the poor sell time. You see, if you ever want to make more money, the best way to assure you will get the raise is to do something for the company that will make them more money. The more money you make your company, the easier it is for them to justify paying you more. One morning, Joe gets into his car and it doesn't start. Joe decides it's probably time for a new car. He heads to the dealership and sees a brand new BMW for $50,000. The dealership says they will finance it for him. He decides to get the car since he'll probably be able to afford it. The monthly payments end up costing him $500 and the insurance costs him another couple hundred. Repairs and maintenance will also be more expensive since it's a luxury car, but it's all worth it because of the status that car brings. A similar situation happens to Bill, but when he goes to the dealership, he finds a used, reliable car. He sees the BMW, and it is something he can afford, but instead he chooses a used, reliable car for $5,000. Even though he would have loved the BMW, he realizes he could save $700 a month by getting something cheaper. He doesn't mind living below his means for now, because he's going to invest that monthly $700 saved in dividend stocks that return 5% per year. Even if his stocks do not go up in value, he will make money every month in dividends that he can reinvest. $700 a month for 8 years would be the cost of his BMW. Putting that money into dividend stocks for 8 years instead will make his investment portfolio worth $85,000. That's a lot better than spending $50,000 on a car that will be worth $12,000 in 8 years. Even if he stops buying dividend stocks after 8 years, he will still get paid $4,000 a year from the dividends as long as he holds onto those stocks. This is difference 3 between the rich and the poor. The poor buy liabilities, the rich buy assets, and use the money made from their assets to buy their luxuries. A week later, it's payday. Joe checks his bank balance and sees that his work has deposited his paycheck. Joe goes online immediately and pays his credit card, his insurance, car payments, and rent. He also goes out and makes some purchases with the money he has earned. He checks his bank account at the end of the week only to realize he has $20 left. He wonders where all his money has gone and feels a sense of despair knowing he will always be living check to check. When Bill sees his paycheck has been deposited, he starts by moving a few $100s from his checkings account into his savings account. He then pays all of his bills and debts and then does his discretionary spending. He contributes to his savings first because it removes the temptation to skip a savings contribution and spend the funds on expenses or luxuries instead. He smiles when he checks his savings account and sees that the balance is always increasing. The fourth difference between the rich and the poor is the rich always pay themselves first. The poor pay themselves last. It's the weekend and Joe decides to have some friends over. They are hanging out and drinking beer. Life has been pretty tough on all of them and they are all feeling a little down. Joe is having a hard time paying his car bill. Jen is complaining she doesn't know how she will be able to afford retirement. And Tom is upset he still hasn't made any advancements in his career. The three go on for hours, moping about how the world is unfair, how much the economy sucks, and how they wish they could get lucky like all the rich people do. Bill is hanging out with his friends as well. They are having a great time talking about their investments, their careers, and their families. One of Bill's friends mentioned how they are some of the most experienced individuals in their field, and that they should consider starting their own business up as partners. Another one of his friends asked the group if any of them would be willing to join her in purchasing some real estate. A friend in the investment industry lets the group know about a few stocks he believes will do well next year. Bill loves his friend group because they keep him happy, positive, and they motivate him to accomplish more. Joe likes his friends as well because he doesn't feel inadequate around them since they are all pretty poor like he is. This is the fifth difference between the rich and the poor. The rich surround themselves with other rich people. The poor surround themselves with other poor people. Studies show that you can estimate someone's net worth by averaging the net worth of the 5 people they see most. Therefore, if you want to be rich, you must surround yourself with rich people. On his lunch break every day, Joe stops by the coffee shop next to his work and grabs himself a sandwich and a drink for $10. The mouth-watering food is the perfect break from his shitty, mind-numbing job and makes the rest of his day a little more bearable. Bill would love the convenience and taste of a fresh sandwich from the coffee shop, but instead packs a sandwich and fruits from his home for lunch. It may not be as tasty, but it allows him to save $10 a day. You see, after 100 lunches made at home, Bill has saved up enough money to take a vacation to Mexico with his friends. But the trip to Mexico is just a bonus for Bill. The main reason he makes his own lunch and saves money is to practice delayed gratification. You see, reading a university study, Bill was surprised to learn that the ability to delay gratification is one of the most important qualities that will determine if someone will be rich or not. Ever since reading that study, Bill decided to package his lunch to save for vacation, and he found that would be a great way to practice delaying gratification. That is the sixth difference between the rich and the poor. The rich have the ability to delay gratification. The poor want instant reward. In summary, if you want to escape the rat race and achieve financial freedom, you should never stop learning. You should sell value, not time. Buy assets instead of liabilities. Pay yourself first. Surround yourself with other rich people and practice your ability to delay gratification. Thanks for watching to the end of the video, guys. If you haven't already, make sure you like the video and subscribe. Also, make sure to hit the notification bell icon so that you can receive notifications every time I post a video.